All right, we're live. We are live here Wednesday night with that 2020 vision, and I got to give props to my homeboy Ryan Stuman because we were talking at we had a little McLaren event and we were hanging out and talking. And he was just talking about the 2020 vision, and I was like, oh, dog, that is it. And so it got me thinking about really got me thinking about people that hit their goals and people that don't hit their goals, people that have a vision for their life and where they're trying to go when they get there, and people that don't. And really, that's what this conversation is about tonight.
Awesome, man.
So if you want to hit your goals, then you're going to want to pay attention, because I think that we're both qualified to speak on the topic of hitting goals versus not hitting goals, and just the number of perspectives of running into people in our lives that don't hit their goals versus people that do hit their goals. And, there really is a process to this, like, that makes it happen. And to me, it makes it happen every time if you really want to hit your goals. And that's what it's about. So we're going to have some of that clarity, that 2020 vision going into 2020.
Well, here, before we start that, cheers.
Oh, yeah. Cheers to you as well.
Cheers
to you. Don't forget that rev share dance.
Hey, for anybody that's watching in on this, y'all don't need to be counting the number of drinks I have on the broadcast. I know that was a topic. I see someone timed. They said Al got up every 23 minutes and got a new Moscow Mule.
I told y'all I'm about efficiency. This ain't just about branding and marketing.
You come out looking like
branding and marketing. This is about efficiency, so I don't have to get up but once or twice. If I have to get up 3 times, then you probably should just check out and not listen to anything else I'm about to say.
Hey, Ed Hasner's our Ohio broker for EXP is watching.
Broker of the year, my favorite broker.
Ed, cheers, Ed.
Ed, cheers, buddy. Appreciate everything you do, my friend.
So, Jay, when we were talking this morning about what we wanted to talk about today. Man, we ended that call without knowing, but this is a great topic, especially, toward the end of the year. A lot of the rock star mastermind guys that come to our mastermind have probably already gone through this process for their 2020. But it is, when you learn how to do this the right way, you get clarity, and the lack of clarity and that lack of vision is, I think, the number one thing that people get frustrated with. They're like, man, I want to take my business to the next level, but what does that even look like? What does winning look like? How do I know, if I look backwards over the last 12 months or maybe even the last 3 years, what would that look like? Mm-hmm. We've been doing an exercise locally here. We literally last week just did a workshop on getting 2020 vision for your 2020 goals. And one of the things that I take people through before we get into the business aspect of things, and if you're listening to this is a writer downer. I learned this from Brian Moses. Our good buddy Brian Moses took us through this exercise, and he said, I want you to visualize yourself right now that your 95-year-old self, you're 95 years old and you're sitting on the front porch of your house in a rocking chair, and you're actually having a conversation with your current self today at whatever age you are. And he says, would the 95-year-old self be giving you a high five and telling you you're on the right path, you're doing everything the right way, you're around the right people, you're making the right decisions? Or would he give you a smack and tell you to wake up? And when you can ask yourself that question, and give yourself an honest answer. And if you're listening to this, maybe you should be asking yourself that question. What would your 95-year-old self be telling you? Would they be telling you that you're on the right path or the wrong path? And that was a great exercise for us to go through. It's called the 5 equities of life. And it's not just about business, but it's also about getting clear on personal and finances, business, spiritual, the whole thing, and relationships. And so we went through that exercise, and it's a real eye opener when you usually people set 1-year goals, but we underestimate what we can do. We overestimate, what we can do in 1 year. We underestimate what we can do in 30 years. Would you agree, Jay?
Heck yeah, we do. No doubt. I got to give a shout out. What's up, Adam Bailey? What's happening, baby?
Adam.
What's up, Trisha Turner?
Yes.
What's going on? Kyle Micklejohn, Sean Williams. Rah. Loving it. Loving life. Love you guys. Yeah, man. I think, yeah, it's incredibly important. And, I don't know I don't know what my 95-year-old self would say, you know what I mean? I think, for a lot of people, that's a long time, right? Like I was listening to I went back through this right here book. Actually, honestly, this big old book right here. Like you can say you bought this book, but you did not digest it. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a big one.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's so freaking good, man. And I was listening, and Tim Ferriss does a good job of like interviewing people that are just incredibly interesting people and really well thought, like thinking individuals. And this dude was breaking down like his physical health goals at the age of whatever he is. I think the guy's 45 or something like that, is based upon being 90 years old and wanting to be able to lift. He doesn't want to ever have to get on an airplane. And I literally had just had this experience where I had to help a lady put her bag up in the carry-on in first class. And that was, he has based his entire health and physical goals on being able to pick up a 35-pound bag and put it up into the carry-on when he goes on a flight and travels when he's 90 years old. And I was like, damn, you talk about thinking about like where you want to be at 95 years old or whatever age it was. He said it was, I think they used 90 or 95. And, are you doing that? What do you need to be able to do at age 50, at age 75, at age 80, and physically? And that should be your workout plan to be able to accomplish that. And like that's big thinking, right? Like that's so far down the road. But like if you're thinking about that now, like there's no question you're gonna be loading up your shit into the damn carry-on on a plane when you're 95 instead of having to ask someone else to do it for you. And it was interesting. It was super interesting. But that's what you made me think of when you talked about the 95 years self, right? Like,
yeah. Well, I just read that new, I don't know if you call it a white paper or whatever Curtis Johnson wrote, right? And the one thing that jumped out at me, and I think it was in that I was reading it, was that, by the way, Cujo, if you're watching this, well done on that, was that he's been to a lot of real estate agents' funerals, but never to anyone's retirement party.
Retirement party, right?
Yeah, never been to one real estate agent's. In fact, let me ask you a question. If you guys are watching this, has anyone ever been to a real estate agent's retirement party? And if you have, put in there you have. If you have not, give me some hearts. Because I've never been to one. I've never been invited to one, but unfortunately, I have been to a lot of funerals. And unfortunately, the realtor funeral and the party kind of coincide. Because I know a ton of real estate agents who were literally selling right up into the point where they went and met their maker, and that just doesn't have. It kind of leads right into our conversation today. We're going to talk about your 1-year goal for 2020, but I think the biggest thing for people to keep in mind here is that it's just as important, if not even more important, to keep in mind what that 95 or 90-year-old self. Where are you going to be living? You know what I mean? What are your finances going to be looking like at that time? You better have some residual income coming in at that point to take care of you, because you ain't lock boxes and hustling homes at 90. I hope not, anyway.
You ain't knocking doors.
That isn't the goal. We can all agree on that. Whatever the goal is for 2020, that is not the goal. Is to be 90 years old and still trying to crank lock boxes, because unfortunately, that's what most people do, and that's what happens for most people. But we are going to talk about some clarity. That's for sure.
Yeah, right. And there's this thing called that Dan Sullivan has called the question, and the question is, if we were having this conversation 3 years from today, what would have to happen in your life for you to say, both personally and professionally, for you to say that this was a successful engagement that we're having here today? So, like, I want you to take some time to pause and think, instead of listening and watching us two yahoos, but pause and think for a second about what has to be true 3 years from right now, this moment, 3 years, 2023. It's easier to see 2023 than it is to see when you're 95, probably. So in 3 years, what has to be true in order for you to say this was value to me? That what I did from this point forward was extremely, this relationship that we have together here, you listen to us and learning from us, was valuable. And when I first heard that question, I was like, man, like, you want to talk about putting in perspective, where do you want to be in 3 years? We can all visualize 3 years from now. 3 years from now, how old are you going to be? 3 years from now, how old are your kids going to be? 3 years from now, what do you want your life? What do you want to be different with your life? What do you want? You can do freaking anything in 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've helped more people build successful businesses in 3 years. Like, I'm not talking going from 30 transactions to 300 in 3 years. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean success, by the way. That it's about the lifestyle that your business creates for you more than anything. But like, what do you really want your life to be like in 3 years? And are you really seriously clear about what the things that you have to do every single day to get there? And if you're not, then that's what this is about today. I think that's what I want to really like dig into. Like, yeah, you can talk about it, but like, are you really clear? Are you doing the things daily that are going to get you there, or are you not? And if you're not clear, let's get clear. If you are clear and you're not doing them, why are you not doing them? And that's what I like to talk about. Yeah, I'm all excited, dude. I literally, bro, like I literally today. You asked my wife. I felt like death for the last 5 hours of today. I've been just I don't feel well. I don't get sick because I'm one of those people that don't get sick. But like this has got me all charged up. So I'm excited. I'm just glad I don't feel like dog shit right now.
Good, man. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yes, sir.
I think I have an idea of what helped you feel.
It might be the vodka. I don't know.
Cheers.
Yeah. So what's up, Justin? Dave, what's up, Dave?
So Jay, you want to post that link to the clarity report in the comments section?
Yeah. So yeah. Unfortunately, the link doesn't work. So I was trying to find the clarity report, which is something we created about getting clarity, and we're gonna talk about it tonight. But if you message us, we'd be happy to send you the clarity report. We have it in a PDF. I just looked at the link online and it's not working. So if I'm afraid to even give it out. I'm just going to frustrate people. But it's actually let me see if I can just post this one link. And then I'll go back and fix it. Just know it's not going to work. And if you're watching this on YouTube later, it's probably going to work. So yeah.
So what Jay's looking for and talking about is a document. It looks something like this. This was back in 2010, and you guys used to call it the turning point document. This was the first exercise when I hired Kinder Reese in 2010 coaching. Coach Cliff Freeman, love you, Coach Cliff. If you're out there, thank you. He gave me this as my first assignment, and the step one is to actually make the date as to when you're going to get clear, when you're going to actually do your planning. So you can actually see this. It says the 22nd of November, 2010 is when I filled this first one out. I actually carry this around with me everywhere, and the whole thing is filled out. And what's super cool is when I filled this out, we were coming out of the downturn, the real estate market crashed from 2007, 8. And so I'm coming out of it in 2010, bumped, bruised, bloodied, limping. And I'll just read this. The first page is, how many homes have you listed in the past 12 months? The answer to that was 30. How many of them sold? 12. If that gives you any idea how bad it was bad. When I was filling this out, it was bad. Yeah. So,
that was the worst.
But the thing that this forces you to do is to literally work. We call it working on your business versus in your business. Working in your business is doing the listing appointment, running the buyers, making your calls, doing all those tactics that you need to make sales. Working on your business is stepping outside of that and working on and looking at your strengths, the weaknesses, opportunities, threats. That's called a SWOT analysis. That's another exercise that's within the clarity report that you're going to get. So if you just DM Jay or DM myself, we'll send you that PDF. of the clarity report. Still to this day, follow this process every single year. Joel and I were just downtown. We usually rent a suite at one of the nicer hotels down there, lock ourselves in a room for a couple days, and we just get after it. And one of my favorite parts of the whole thing is actually the SWOT analysis. And I don't know why it's my favorite.
I don't.
You know why?
Yeah. Go ahead, though. I want because you haven't heard me go off on this in a while, probably. So
okay.
Go ahead.
The only reason I think I like it is because we turned it into one of these collaborative things where we invite other team members in and get their opinion on our strengths. What's interesting is when you start hearing when they're talking about our weaknesses, and you're like, somebody will be thinking like, oh, I thought that was a strength of ours. And then they're like, no, that's a weakness. And you're getting different perspectives.
Right.
Opportunities, or what opportunities are out there that we haven't taken advantage of. And then there's the threats. What's a threat to our current business model that we are, and it's an outside threat that we should really just be aware of. Not that we want to kick into defense mode, but be aware of it. And I think our goal of that exercise is to identify those weaknesses and then maybe find some opportunities to plug those holes so that hopefully we can move those weaknesses into strength. So that's just one of them. What were you going to say about the SWOT?
Yeah, no, there's so many opportunities in real estate, right? Like there's so many things. Everybody that's watching this right now, there are so many things you could go do right now. That you could go do. The challenge is, what's the right one thing to go focus on? And so you got this priority confusion of because this business, and I always have to stop and pause for a second and say, let me remind you how great this business is of real estate. I lived in Oklahoma. I live in Dallas now. My son's 21 and selling real estate in Dallas, where the average sale price is like $400,000. I grew up at, where I had to sell an entire city block to do that. So just knowing but you can make, $5,000 a deal, even where I'm from. And so for no cost, right? There's a cost to acquire a customer if you're spending money in marketing, but if you had a car dealership, you would have to buy it. You have to have a car lot to put your cars on, and you could do it digitally. Obviously, that happens now today. I see a lot of dealerships that way. But you would have to buy the car, and then you have to sell the car for more than what you would have to have bought it for, and then whatever your carrying cost for your running your business is, and you have to make money on top of all of that, right? And in real estate, you could maybe spend $500 and get a deal that might be worth $10,000. And the more that you learn how to do sales and marketing, the more you realize I can do more and more and more and more of this. And you get to keep, it's a service-based business where you're getting paid for your expertise and your advice and the value you deliver. And you can do it as many times as there are hours in the day. And so, it really becomes a business of getting $10 an hour work off your plate and focusing on the $1,000 an hour work that really pays the most. And that's the crux of the business. And that's strategically, it's about getting clear on what are your financial goals? What do you have to do in order to get there? And then getting the shit out of the way that don't make money and do the things that do make money. I mean, it's really that simple. It's not rocket science. I mean, shoot. I mean, you're talking to, and not to devalue Al, because I'm always self-deprecating, but I'm a country boy from Walters, Oklahoma. Al was a truck driver with long hair down the middle of his back. And we both making a whole bunch of money selling real estate. So anybody can do this, but you got to commit to the process, the system, the process for how to make the right decisions every day, and then track whether you're doing the things that are necessary or not. So, it's fascinating to me. And I'm curious, Al, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because I had a huge revelation early in my career that was mind blowing to me especially as I looked back on it. But what was your first example of gull setting and the importance of that? And because I think if we asked everybody watching today, I'm curious if you guys set goals and you write them down. And I think most people do the surface level thing, I want to do this or whatever, but I don't know that everybody reverse engineers a plan for what they got to do daily to get there. But and that's an evolution of goal setting that you get to when you get around the right people that understand, hey, listen, if you really want to hit your goals, this is what you do. But how many of you set goals, right? I think everybody in real estate sets goals. There's like very few people that probably don't set goals. But if you don't, like, that's like number one. Let's get clear on what the hell you want in the first place. But what was your first example of, like, I set some goals and then either you didn't hit them or you did hit them? And like, what have you learned about goal setting in your career? Because I've never asked this question. I'm just curious to know what, like, as you've grown and in your business, what was your example of goal setting and how it's been valuable to you in your life?
Sure. Well, first, before I answer that question, I want to say shout out to 87 Kevin. What's up, Kev?
There's 87 Kevin in here.
87 Kevin is watching right now.
If he is, he's throwing. He hasn't thrown up any inappropriate posts or anything.
Nothing yet. Don't encourage him.
87 Kevin is my dock neighbor at Pier 121. He's a good, one of the best human beings you could ever be around, and appreciate you, brother. And I'm lucky to have my boat slip next to him, because there's not a lot of people that they could have sold that boat slip to but me.
Hands down, best dock neighbor ever.
Yeah, no doubt.
Tom Daves, Ryan Reilly, what's up, guys?
What's up? Tom Daves, Ryan Reilly, what's up?
Hey, so to answer your question, my first goal, I'm going to answer this a couple different ways. The first time I was ever exposed to that was a Tony Robbins event in 2000. It was either 2000 or 2001. I went with my the guy that owned the company I was working for at the time, and we went to unleash the power within. Yeah. And my goal, the goals that I wrote down were all they were all material things. It wasn't. It was like that, like when you just dream big. Right. So one of the goals I wrote down was to have a lake house. Another goal was to make $20,000 a month. That was one of my goals. I figured if I could hit $20,000 a month, I'd be free. And frankly, back then, 20,000 would have made me free. Right. Not today,
right. We spend a little
but then that would have been extremely free back then in 2000, 2001. I think what it's important to figure out right now or point out was that I didn't have the blueprint and I think it was even the right methodology of working the thing backwards, mm-hmm. to not just focus on the thing, right. Focus on what activities that you have to do on a daily basis. And what we like to call these are HLAs, your high leveraged activities, right? And laying out what those high leveraged activities are that you're going to be doing, breaking it down to the most minute thing. I think that I guess I just didn't have the right coaching and mentorship at the time, right. Of someone that would help me reverse engineer the plan to say, okay, your goal is to make whatever, $300,000 a year.
How you gonna do it?
Yeah, like what do I got to do to work this reverse engineer this backwards? Actually, John Cheplack, who I first saw speak on your stage at EGS in 2011, I want to say, yep. Was he said, in order for you to grow your business and double it, and you have to replace yourself every day. Replace yourself and fire yourself from different positions that, mm-hmm. you're doing every day. That resonated. And what, if you're listening and you're wondering what that means, is that if you're taking your own photos, if you're, out there helping people stage their house, if you're doing all the aspects, if you're entering listings into the MLS, if you're doing the low leveraged activities that pay, what Jay said, 10 and now I don't think we even can call it $10 an hour.
Right,
work.
it's like 15.
It's like $15 an hour work. You're never going to have time to do the $200 or $300 or $500 an hour work, which is your high leveraged activities. And so, first step in that is just identifying what those are. And if I'll just give you a hint, it's listing appointments. If you're face to face with sellers, or even better yet, face to face with other real estate agents, your two highest leveraged activities are either listing homes or recruiting real estate agents who can then, help you create that residual income. And that's a high leverage. That's leveraged income. As a matter
of fact, at the pinnacle of your business, at the pinnacle of your career, those will be not the number one and number two things, no question.
Right.
And,
So I think
and prior to that, it would have been making the calls, right? So like, there's I just don't know of anybody. I don't know of anybody in the whole damn business that I've coached or that I've been around that were successful that ever didn't make calls, that weren't on the damn phone. You know what I mean? Like that is the revenue driving activity if you ain't making enough money. And so, and so keep going.
Hey, Curtis is on now. What's up, Curtis?
Cujo. What's up, buddy?
And I'll say this too. And this is since Curtis is on here watching, I got to give some props to him because of my first EGS that I came to, which was 2010, and you did a panel and you interviewed him. It was Adam Hergenrother, it was Cujo, Blake Sloan was up there, and I was proud.
Hoss Pratt.
I didn't know anybody. Hoss Pratt was up there.
That was a panel of badasses, wasn't it?
It was legend.
2010.
And I can tell you right now, I left there. That was a changed that event changed my life. And the biggest thing, we're talking about goal setting here, and I get that. But look, anybody can go set a bunch of goals and say, hey, I'm going to go sell 200 homes. Like, okay, great. How are you going to get there? And is that even attainable, like with what your game plan is? For me, I needed a belief. I needed a belief that I could actually do that. And after that panel, I mean, it's one of those aha moments you never forget. And I remember after that panel, I got up and I'm like, damn, look at these guys. I actually went up and grabbed Cujo after that, talked to him, and it just gave me that confidence. But like, all right, man, those guys up there are selling 200, 300, 400 homes a year. Shit, I could do that. They're actual real human beings sitting up there telling their story on how they won. Little did we all know, you can't deposit 400 transactions in your bank account. It doesn't work. But
no, I want to hit on what you're saying, bro, because it's it's so true. So here's the thing. So first of all, I had the same exact experience. I'll never forget it as long as I live. I'm at a Craig Proctor conference, and everybody's up on stage talking about how many deals they're doing. They pass out this coaching thing around, and it's like 12 grand. I'm like, 12 grand. I remember sitting next to the guy I'm sitting next to. I'm like, I don't even know this guy very well. I've been sitting next to him all day. But I'm like, 12,000 Canadian, or is that American? I can't believe they're even trying to charge that kind of money. Like, are you out of your mind? Like, what? And then some guy gets up that's like 2 seats down from me, and this dude does not look like somebody who would be selling a lot of real estate. He just doesn't. Like, we judge people, it's wrong, but we do it. He gets up, he goes to the mic, and he says, he's like, I just want to say, thank you. I've been real estate, This year I'll close 420 something transactions. And I'm like, what? Like, what? What is going on? Like, I'd never seen it before. And in so many times in my life where I made the jump from what was around me to what was the next level that was possible, it's always been because we've invested in going to events and invested in being around people. That what you're saying is, when you invested in going to the Kinder Reese event in 2010, you saw what was possible, and you saw people that didn't have some special gift. They just did what was possible, and you were like, if you could do it, I could do it, right? Like, it's obviously possible. No one in my office had ever sold 400 homes in a year. Are you kidding me? Like, I'd never seen that opportunity was even real. And so it comes down to, like, when you so today I did a call with GoGo, and it's funny that it's gratuitous, they would say. GoGo asked me at the end of the call. I didn't know she was going to ask this question, because I honestly don't really need to know the questions ahead of time. I'll just be honest and tell you what I think my answer is at the time. And so she's like, what's the one thing that made the biggest difference in your life? And I was going to ask you this at the end, but you're already in it. Like, I think you might have a different answer.
I blew it for you. Sorry.
No, it's not bad at all. It's like, it's been, and so I had these on my desk already. So I had this on my desk. These are the room keys. These are the room keys in my life that I've saved. And I didn't save all of them. I don't even remember when I started saving them. But these are the room keys of me traveling around the country, going to events to learn. And that's not one stack. There's multiple stacks of room keys, multiple stacks. And this is just a small, a small gathering of the investment that I've made in my life to get better and learn and get around other people that are more successful than me. There's more than 1,000, I think 1,200 room keys here. It's probably double this number of nights that I've spent away from my family. Damn it! I get to.
You know what my takeaway from seeing all those room keys are?
What?
We need to buy a hotel.
Right, no doubt. And we need an Airbnb in literally every major city in the country. Really, is for sure the takeaway. But
Yes.
but that like you got to think. And somebody posted, and I can't remember her name. Bless her heart, she's amazing. She's on Joe LeBron's team, and she posted a very personal, what I felt like was a very personal post about like, I'm leaving my kids, and I'm flying across the country to something she has no idea what she's going to really truly take away from. And she came to boot camp a couple weeks ago, and she really didn't have the money to do it. Like, I mean, she put the whole thing out there. Like, I'm invested in being better in real estate, and I believe in Joe LeBron, and he says I should go to this, and I'm going. And so she makes this post, and she gets there, and when I meet her, I give her a hug because, like, you made a life, like leaving your babies for a period of time, like when you've never done that, when you've never taken the chance to, like, what's going to happen to me? Like, you don't know until you've done it. Like, you can't describe what we're describing until you've experienced it. Like, until you've been there and been like, my mind just got blown. I realized the opportunity in my life. I realized why I'm here. I realized what I can accomplish, and I'm going to go do it. I've seen it now. I'm going to go do it. And literally I saw her post 2 days ago. She's been back 2 weeks, and she put 3 deals under contract in the weekend. And I think it was the weekend. I'm not trying to misstate it, but it was 3 deals. And she's like, I love my real estate career. Like, that is what it takes. You gotta go, you gotta step into the darkness where you're not comfortable flying, leaving your family, going and spending money you don't have to want to grow, to get to the next level. If you want to get to the next level, if you know what the next level is and you're not there, then you got to step out of the darkness. You got to step into the darkness to do it. And we've all had to do that. And that's the secret. Like, it's get closer to people that have had the success you want to have and make that investment.
Yeah.
Anyway, I made a big mess.
I love it. And I think what this all comes down to is decisions as well. So, I mean, I did a presentation on decisions at that workshop that we did last week. And I did it at our mastermind 2 Key Wests ago, not this past one. And just really examining what the decisions are, and those decisions that impact your life, years and years and years. The decisions that you make in 2020 to grow your business, to invest. What's up, Ariana?
No, Vincent, thank you. It's Ariana. I knew her name was Ariana, but I didn't remember her last name. So Vincent said that's Ariana Ryan that you're talking about, Rockstar.
Oh, there she is.
They're both watching. Like,
that's awesome.
Vincent Koo is one of the most successful people that I know at EXP in our group. He is the #1 recruiting person in the entire group that we know. And he's been with us only, 8 or 9 months. And they're here watching right now. Like, what do I tell you about people like, it's just, the evidence is all around you. It's about the people that you surround yourself with. And so, Ariana, I'm so super proud of you. I'm so glad that you made the decision to join us at boot camp. And I'm always there for you to help you grow your business. So, Rockstar, appreciate you, and you're killing it. And I know you're gonna steed everything you've ever dreamed in your life. You're gonna go way past that. So you guys are awesome.
Ariana.
And kudos to Vincent Koo, which Vincent brought Joe LeBron on, who brought Ariana on. I believe that's right. So
yeah,
so very cool to hear.
I love those stories. I love seeing those posts of people leaving that, these events, especially the boot camp one, and they just really come back. It's not just motivation; they come back with the handles to the luggage to go and take it and run. I mean, marbles are out of the mouth. You know exactly what to say. You got your time management. Everything. There's checks and boxes. By the way, here's just a sneaky little plug here. By the way, you know, most of the time you'd have to go to Dallas to attend one of these boot camps, we're flying John Kitchens into Cleveland. So anyone that's watching this in Cleveland, we're going to be doing a boot camp. And if you want to fly into Cleveland, that's cool too. That is going to be January 16th and 17th. That's a Thursday and a Friday. It's going to be a 2-day boot camp. We're going to smush it into 2 days. It's normally a 3-day. We're going to do our best to smush it. So put that in your calendar and look for
those will be 2 full days.
Yeah, 2 full days. Block them all out. If you want to experience what Brianna and literally probably at this point thousands of other agents have experienced, do that. But it's the decisions that you're going to make. And some of these, let's talk about that. Because I had every reason when you and Mike showed up to my office in 2012, I had a torn hamstring from running a Tough Mudder. I was on crutches. And I just opened up my first real estate office. I was still with Remax. So I think I spent, I don't know, $50,000, $60,000 in opening up this office. So my funds were low. And I had every reason to say no to coming to the mastermind. Now imagine if I would have said no and I did not come to that mastermind. I said, no, I'm not going to go to the mastermind. I appreciate the invite, Mike and Jay. Thanks for coming, but I'm good. We may not even be talking right now.
Right.
You know, like that changed.
Dude, you had every reason, bro. Every reason not to go. And the funny thing about the story is when me and Mike, we basically bought, it's a whole nother story. And anybody that's at boot camp probably knows the story because I always share it at boot camp. But Dan Kennedy had sold us a day with Dan Kennedy, and it was in Cleveland. And we had to go to Cleveland. And so what Mike and I always do if we're traveling, we're like, hey, who do we know in Cleveland that we can talk to? And we had a mastermind. And our mastermind was $25,000 a year. We said, who do we know that's our up and coming people that like needs to be moving up to mastermind and get into our network that we want to be like the people that we want to hang out with? And we're like, Al Stasic. so we literally you didn't even know we were coming. Like it was a complete, there was no advanced text message or anything, but we showed up, did we, at your office? Yeah. We showed up at the wrong office because you just moved from Remax to Independent, right?
No, I moved. I was still with Remax. I just opened my own like branch.
Gotcha. That's right.
Deal. And so Tina, my assistant Tina at the time, she was infatuated with Jay Kinder, and she come running in my office. Again, I'm on crutches. My foot was up, and I'm like, she's like all happy and giddy. She said, Jay Kinder and Mike are here. I said, get out of here. I thought she's just pulling a joke on me. I come around the corner, and sure enough, it was you and Mike. We have a picture of that. I post it every once in a while.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
The picture.
I look a lot younger. I notice every time I see.
Weren't we all?
Right.
I couldn't even have to shave then.
Yeah, dude. I couldn't shave the brain gets so thick, you know. But yeah, it was. I remember we went to, what was that place? Was it like the Gator or something?
We went to the Winking Lizard.
The Winking Lizard. The Winking Lizard. And I just remember you were in crutches and everything, and I could see your hesitation in the conversation. Mike is a salesman. I've seen Mike sell anybody. So many. I mean, it don't matter who you are. If you get in the room with Mike, he's going to sell you. And I knew in my heart that it was the best decision you could ever make, and so did Mike. But Mike, you had every reason not to go, but you made the decision to go. And how did you make that decision? What did you, because there's a process you went through and said, okay, I'm doing this. But what was it? What made you decide I'm doing it? Because that's the reason why Ariana was successful. Like she's going to be successful because she made that difficult decision. But like, what was it that made you go, okay, I'm in, guys. Like, I'm going to do this, even though I know I shouldn't. I know it's going to cause a conversation at home. Like, everything that she said, don't do it, but you did it anyways. What was that? What is that? What is it that made you do it?
My wife, she was literally crying because she knew I was going to be like, I asked her, I said, and she's going to support it anyway, but she's like, she knew I was going. And she was more worried the fact that I was on crutches and how I was going to get through the airport. What I learned though, is when you're on crutches, you actually get to front of the line of everything. You're in a wheelchair. They take you right to wherever you need to go. That was not a problem at all. But, we went to the Kentucky Derby. What made the decision was I knew I needed to expand my network and get around people like I couldn't be the smartest person in the room. I wanted to be the dumbest person in the room. And I knew by coming to that, getting around people who were thinking just bigger than me, which is exactly what happened in 2010. What But it was 2 years later. My business had already doubled. And I was like, I think it's time to go to the next level.
Yeah, you had too much proof at that point.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. For me, that's what it was. And I just knew that, look, I was in a similar situation when I agreed to pay for the coaching at $1,200 a month. I'm like, I'm going to make this investment. This is a lot of money. And then mastermind was almost double that. And I'm like, well, look what happened last time. I actually did the ROI on it, and it was just the best investment I ever made. So I rolled the dice and said, this doesn't feel like a very risky bet. They already proved it once. Let's do it again. And Mike, he reached me. He basically, made me an offer I can't refuse. He goes, look, if you come and you don't like it, you don't have to continue. I'm like, easy peasy.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
So great decision. And again, the decisions you're going to be making about your business, if you're watching this, some of those decisions, here's what we don't want to do. And we all do it. We've done it. Is when you're making decisions based upon what's in your bank account. When you're making decisions based upon the scarce amount of resources that you have. And sometimes, like our girl Ariana there, she may not have had it. It might have stretched her. It may even have put her in a financial situation, which is what it did for me. But I'll tell you this, boom, that investment started paying off a few months down the line. Sometimes you just got to have faith, and I guess the lesson here is maybe one of your goals. I'm not trying to get on here and tell you guys what your goals should be, but maybe one of your goals is you should get outside your comfort zone, because no growth happens inside that comfort zone. You need to get around people that maybe intimidate you a little bit in a good way. Get around the people that are going to make you think at a much higher level. And I think that's been one of the biggest things that I told somebody to do. What's one thing? Get around other people. And Cujo actually mentioned that in his report too.
That was my number one thing. When Gogo asked me that question today, I was like, because I didn't know it was coming. I'm like, damn, what's the one thing? What's the one thing? And you haven't put a lot of thought into it, but you're like, man, like your instincts go to that one thing. And like for me, it's been, I will invest in myself, and I will travel. And I will go wherever I have to go to get in the room with people that I feel like can take me to the next level. And I'm making that point because, Jen Donaldson made a comment here. You probably see it, Al, is, love to travel, but come to Washington, D.C. one year. Lots of agents there would benefit. And you're right, man. Washington, D.C. I've been to Washington, D.C. a couple times. I've been there.
It's funny she says that, because we're going to be coming close to.
We actually are going to be real close to you. So not have to travel near as far. Coming up in January, dates to be released coming soon. It'll be the third week of January. But don't let that be. And I don't gather that that's what her post was. I think she's probably saying, hey, there's a lot of people here that need to learn from you. But what I'm saying is, like, all those people need to make the decision to get out of your market and pay the money and fly to somewhere you are uncomfortable going and learn from the people that have been successful. And that's our story. Like, that's my story. I feel like, Al, that's been your story. Like, I can't tell you enough. I mean, I got my lanyards here I don't know if y'all can see my lanyard tree. That's my Christmas tree. Well, that's my experience. One of my experience boards, which is all the tickets and things I've done in life and things that are fun to go do and whatever. But like, the whole thing hanging right there's the lanyard tree. The lanyard tree is where I've been paying money to put that lanyard on my neck to be in the room. And we've consistently done that for years. And I believe once you see being done, you can't go back to thinking small. Like, you can't go back to thinking about doing 30 deals a year when you see people doing 400 a year. You just can't. You're like, all these people are doing this much business. Like, okay, it's definitely possible. It works everywhere. So what am I missing? Right? Like, you start to understand that you could do more. You could be more. You could be more. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. Like, well, everything we're talking about is about you becoming a better version of yourself.
That's a principle, right, that you're talking about. And it's funny that extends into other things, such as if you making a good investment and buy yourself a nice car, you can really never go back to driving a shitty car.
That's so true. That is
if you start flying first class, it's real hard to go back to flying coach. And I'm telling you this right now. I'm not saying this to be boastful. It's just a fact. Go ahead and make the investment one time. Treat yourself to a first class seat. And you tell me if you ever want to go back and sit and coach again. Your thinking changes, and it's actually I have had to do that on occasion, and it's brutal, And before that, I thought that it was just fine in coach. All these snobby
the
people.
only way to travel. That was how you traveled. It wasn't. And you walk by those people and you look at them like, how did y'all get up here?
And then you look at the next level of private travel. A private jet, which I know you've experienced that a few times. But you start getting into a habit of that, and you don't even want to fly commercial anymore. You're literally moving your mind to a different space, and you just never will think the same again. So yeah, get around them. Get around those winners. But if you stick around,
so here's what one of the questions I wanted to ask you, Al, that we haven't unpacked, at least publicly, before. And so I do believe that is it time for another drink?
Yes, sir. I'm listening.
I knew it was time. So when it comes to setting these goals, and then I believe that my personal experience has been is that when you set these goals and you take the time to reverse engineer it, and this was my experience. I didn't share this earlier. I wanted to share. The first year, and I don't think it's in my closet or I would grab it and show it to you guys, but I think it's actually in my shop and storage out there. But I had set goals every year since I got in the real estate business, not because I knew to set goals, not because I went to Tony Robbins, not because I was some advanced person that has some connection to like what it takes to be successful, but because at Coldwell Banker, my dad gave out these things every year that were goal setting sheets, and there was it was a 4-page thing, and I didn't know any better. But my first year that I filled that out, my 5-year goal was $50,000 in income. My 5-year goal, was $50,000 in income.
Yeah,
I wasn't thinking big, like I was thinking small. I was thinking small because I didn't know what big was. I never saw it before. So like I just got into real estate. I was like, shit, I was mowing yards and making, $20 a yard. And I learned that the more yards I mow, the more I get paid. You know what I'm saying? So I could get a bunch done in a day. I could sleep till my dad used to get pissed off at me because he would call me like, what are you doing still in bed? You're sleeping. You could be mowing while it's not hot outside. He'd get pissed off at me because I would sleep till noon. I'd still mow like 14 yards in a day. And that was me being lazy, to be honest. I didn't know, all I knew was I could get 14 yards done in a day regardless. I wasn't trying to get 20 yards in a day. I didn't have that many yards to mow, but I had, I just had this limited, I didn't see that you could make a couple $100,000 in a year. You could make $1 million a year. And then this little program that I went through, and this is part of the clarity report now, but is how much money do you want to make? And when you say 50,000, it's like, okay, well, let's reverse engineer that to how many buyers, how many sellers, what's the average sell price, what's your average commission, boom, 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 boom. Okay, you need to do how many we're going to fall apart, how many listings you need to take a month, how many buyers you need to sell a month in order to hit those goals. And you do this math, and you're like, damn, I just got to do a couple deals or 1 deal a week or 2 deals a week to make $500,000 bucks, and you're like, I think I could do that. Like it becomes, there's this point where you become, that's the second time Riggs has made a mess in here tonight. Riggs, say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Hey, what's up, Riggsy?
You play basketball.
I hear you. I seen him playing there.
That's my homie. It's all good, dude.
You dunking, dude?
He was trying to dunk it earlier. He was trying to jump off the table over here. He just knocked over he didn't knock over my drink this time. He knocked over just the water. Not a big deal.
Come on, Gracie.
He's all right. You going to bed?
Yeah,
give me a hug. Let me give him a little man a hug. Come on.
Get him.
Give me a hug. Love you, buddy. Say hi to everybody. Hey, we're going to have it. Hey, look at everybody. Are you going to have a YouTube channel? Yeah? Why do you want to have a YouTube channel? Are you
Hey, Riggs. You know what I got you for Christmas?
What is it?
These nuts.
So Al taught Riggs that at, I don't know, not quite 3 years old, and it has never escaped him since then.
All right.
There is not a time that I get on the phone with Al that there's not a D's nuts joke, and so for that, I thank you.
Yeah. Every time we get on the phone, it's, hey, Uncle Al, you know what I got you?
Every time, literally every time. I remember one day I was we were out at the pond, and it's on my Instagram channel, which is all my shenanigans are on my Instagram channel. But when I asked him, I said, Riggs, hey, what do I tell you all the time? Which the other thing that I tell him all the time besides these nuts, which was thanks to you, Al, was I'm always telling him never give up, right? And we were trying to fish and everything. I was like, Riggs, what do I always tell you? And I hit the video and like thinking he's gonna say the right thing, like never give up. And he turns around, he's got these nuts. I'm like, oh geez. It was like the greatest thing of all time. It was really cute when he was 3, but it's not so cute now.
Sorry, Amber.
Yeah, it's all good. It's not that funny, Riggs. Let it go.
Hey, I'm not his favorite uncle for nothing.
Right. Oh, for sure.
If only we had a video of our house right now.
Yeah. We I knew that was coming. Yeah. Literally, Kim. Yeah. It's going down. It's going down in the Kinder house.
Meltdown. Uh-oh.
Emily was backing into the room, and she was basically full Monty mooniness. I don't know why.
She was asking if she wiped good.
Oh, she was asking if she wiped good. So that's probably a little bit more appropriate than, dude, this is my life every day. It's a total shit show. Total shit show. Hey, it's enough. Get out of here. Knuckleheads. It's my life, dude. My life. There's a lot to be learned here. Not really. Certain aspects of life, I still have work to do. That's for sure. I don't even know where I was in the damn story.
Yeah, we got completely side.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to remind us if it was compelling and you want to do the rest of it, then let us know.
I got something. There's a banner going across here. If anybody's watching this and you want to explore what it would be like to partner with us, go to fastgrowthpartner.com, and we got a little survey questionnaire. It probably wouldn't take you more than 3 minutes to probably fill it out, something like that. Go ahead and fill that out, and one of us will be back in contact with you to let you know what it would be like to partner with us. Yeah,
that's an opportunity where some people like Al, who's paid 6 figures or more to learn the things we've learned and how to grow a business, and you could do that and not have to pay us anything. So if you like the sound of that, then you definitely want to go check that out. So So I think I was talking about the goal setting, right? So like I set this goal of 50,000. I reverse engineered it, and then it was like, okay, I did that, and then the next year it's like, and one of the questions was like, well, where did the last 10 deals come from that you did? And I was like, this one was met that people open house, met that one at open house, but this prospect and feasibility expires. I'm at this one, prospect and feasibility expired. And so I'm like, it's like, it just I became aware, which if you want to do anything in life successfully, awareness is the very first step, right? Like if you want to change anything, being aware that you could be better. And so Brian and Sam, like, well, I need to do more of that. I mean, that's working. So I'm going to do more of these things, right? Like that was the aha that I had in doing it. But I set these goals, and I did it every year, because I was a coal banker for a number of years until I went independent. And I remember setting a goal of 500,000 in gross commission income. I remember writing that down and going like, okay, well, what would I have to do that? And I went there, I was like, and I did the math, and I was like, this many listings and this percentage of listings sell. And then, I'm going to do this number of buyers anyways, just because when you get listings, you get buyers. And I did this math and everything, and I did 530,000. I think it was 510,000. So like I hit the goal that year, but my mindset was just about focusing on getting listings. Like I ran everything through the filter of getting listings. And and I hit it like on the button. I'm like, what the F? Like, and I can show it to you. Like, I wrote these down and dated them and everything. And then like I have the actual example, like, from how much commissions I made. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. The next year I set a goal of $1 million, doubling again. And the first year that I did 200,000+ was a shocker. I didn't expect to do that. I way blew past the goals. But after that, it was like every year I could literally project, because I would reverse engineer how many listings I needed to take, how many buyers I needed to do. And I actually hit that number. I did 1,030,000 the next year. And to that point forward, dude, you couldn't convince me that the importance of having a vision and setting goals, like it was mind-boggling to me that I was able to hit those goals. Those seemed like far-reaching goals, but I knew what I had to do daily.
Yeah.
And I think that's the secret.
Yeah. That reverse engineering, man.
Right.
Love it.
It is the reverse engineering.
Remember, if you want a copy of that clarity report, that literally, it's not just a form that, where you end up with a strategic plan at the end. It literally walks you through the steps of getting there. So at the end of it, you'll end up with something like this that's laid out with all the financial goals, number of transactions, number of your 3-year goal, 1-year goal, long-term stretch goal, which, by the way, I can tell you that I have hit those annual goals, and there were many years I did not hit them.
Right.
I would set these lofty goals sometimes, and we'd still see this level of success and this growth, which was great. So you look back and say, man, in 3 years, I doubled my business from $800,000 in commissions to 1.6 million in 3 years. And even though I did that, we there were 2 of those years I didn't hit the goal, but we still experienced the growth.
Right.
So that is going to happen. But I know one of your principles is like, don't set the goal if you're not going to plan on hitting it.
Right. I'm glad you brought that up, Al, because well, I'll tell you what happens is you don't really care. Like, you don't care so much about hitting that goal when you set big goals and you land somewhere, and you're shooting for the moon, you land somewhere in the stars. Like when you go from 800,000 to 1.2 to 1.6, it don't suck. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not, damn it, I didn't hit my, you're like, I'm on my way. I just learned some shit along the way. That's what really happens. And that's the thing that I was going to hit on earlier, that you were talking about, the SWOT analysis. The thing that I love the most of all strategic planning is I love the damn lessons learned. Like, it's my favorite damn thing to talk about. Like, we said we were going to do this, because as you get better at doing this, you think, okay, yeah, I know we can do this now. Like you start hitting some goals or getting close to them, and you start going, yeah, I get it, I can do this, and you get some confidence behind it. But then you set goals and you're like, and you miss them, and you're like, what the F happened? Why did we not hit the damn goal? And you really truly just want to understand what the fuck kept you from hitting the goal. And that was me. And like,
what do you think when you didn't hit a goal? What do you think the number one reason was that you didn't hit it?
It's a multitude of things, and it's normally you. That's the thing. The best thing I can tell you is the number one reason you're not hitting your goal is because of some shit you did or didn't do. And so, like, just being real, and it's like when you're sitting around a bunch of people, and at a certain point, if you got a business in a company like Al, you have, or I had, where you got great people sitting around you, and y'all all came to this conclusion, y'all were going to all do these things. And nobody said, because usually at that stage, you got somebody pushing back saying, you know what, you're out your damn mind, Jay. There's no fucking way we can do all of that this quarter, right? But no, that's not what happens. You got people in the room. Everybody believes that you can do what you said you were going to do, but y'all were wrong. You were wrong, and you don't know why. And until you decide to dissect, like, what the hell happened? And so many things can get in the way. You're like, you know what? You're right. We had all these priorities, but we didn't have a meeting structure around reviewing where we're at to make sure we're on pace. So we had all these priorities, and we didn't finish number 1, but we did do number 3, and we did number 5. What the fuck is that? How did you end up doing all the wrong things and not the number 1 and number 2 and then number 3? Like, we had too many priorities. Like, you start to have these revelations of like, oh shit, maybe I'm the problem, or oh shit, I'm the person that decided we had to have 8 priorities when you never have more than 3. Or
it's funny you say that. I was almost thinking you were going to say that. That's why it was like a rhetorical question. But in my mind, I was like, I hope he says priority confusion.
Right. You start. You say all these things. You think gosh, we got to do all of these things, right? But in reality, the day-to-day whirlwind of the business gets in the way of these priorities that are things you're trying to move towards, and you don't get them all done. And so you start to realize, what, maybe I'm the problem, or maybe we didn't have the resources. We weren't really clear that this was going to take so much time, and we didn't have somebody's time to allocate to it, or we didn't get clear on who was responsible, and we didn't meet on a regular basis. Like, it becomes clear what mistakes you're making in your thinking. Yeah, that's it. It's just the mistakes in your thinking. You thought you were going to do all these things and you didn't, or you didn't get clear on, okay, we don't have the resources available. So we need to go higher now, right now. Like, if you want to get this done and nobody in your company, like, if one of your weaknesses is technology implementation, and that, like, we suck at implementing technology, which is just about all of us. Who's the hire that you're going to make, and like, what skill sets do they need to have so that you're bringing on somebody in your next hire that's going to eliminate the thing that was the restraint to getting those things done. And you just get better and better and better at everything. And it sucks, man. Some people they just don't want to go to that meeting. They're like, please don't put me in a meeting with Jake Henry about the shit we didn't accomplish and going through the reason. It's called lessons learned. And that's why you start in this process, which you will learn. You start with rewarding the things you did well, right? Like, what did we do well? What all did we accomplish? Give me our accomplishments.
The wins.
The wins, baby. Show me the wins. Everybody will share with you the wins. But then when it's time to get to lessons learned, it's like, nobody wants to talk about that, And as a leader, you got to start with your lessons learned. You know what? What I learned is I got to quit putting shit on y'all's plate that's not related to the priority when we've already determined as a company this was a priority, right? We're going to do these things first. And so, as you evolve, you just learn a lot more about yourself, and you learn a lot more about what you're able to accomplish, and then, where you're wrong in your thinking. And that's really what it boils down to. Everything in your life is going to come down to your ability to think it through. And so that's the secret.
Yeah, send us a direct message for anybody who just recently logged on and been watching. If you want a copy of that clarity report, it looks something like this if you print it out, but it's in a digital form. Just DM Jay or DM myself, and we'll get you that PDF. It's a fillable PDF, and literally we'll walk you through the process and help you get clear 2020 vision for 2020.
2020 vision, that 2020 vision. So, yeah. And what's up, Nikki? Good to see you, girl.
Honey
so, appreciate you guys all jumping on. All you honey badgers. And, we're here for you. If you guys need us, as you know, easy to find us. In fact, I think I can switch this over. I don't know how to do it. I don't want to screw it up. How does this work? So, basically, I don't know how to do it. Damn it. I got to turn the banner off. So
turn the banner off. Yeah, just think you like unclick it or
turn it off. Just turn it off. There it goes. Boom. All right. Yeah. So if you want to schedule a call with me or Al, go to jakehenry.me, alstasic.com, and that's where our calendars are. You can schedule a call, and we're happy to help you with your business, and would love to be in business with you if you're not already with us at EXP. So anything we can do to help, we're here to help. Anything else you want to leave them with, Al?
No, sir. Get it in the calendar. Get your planning for 2020. Just put it in the calendar. Step 1, step 2. Send us a DM. We'll get you that document. It's going to help you big time. And that's really about it. It was always great hanging with you on a Wednesday night, Jay. And
appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, appreciate you. And everyone out there. We will see you at the top
or from the top. Cheers, everybody. Looking
Cheers.
forward to a great 2020.